Just a little forward, because I know that YouTubers can come under quite a lot of ridicule when videos get political. I'll try to avoid being preachy by any means here. However, I would like to advise that this video by no means comes at the expense of a video about, say, TV shows or movies. So with that said, let's get on with this. So I realise that I'm late to the boat here with the notorious Gillette We Believe ad campaign, as everybody and their brother has already done a video on this one. I just remember scrolling down my newsfeed on Facebook, seeing posts ranting about the Gillette advert encouraging men to be quote-unquote soy boy manlets, as well as pictures of Gillette razors being flushed down the toilet, etc. And of course Balstrake did a video on it, not that he ever wouldn't draw a large amount of attention to something he doesn't like. So naturally, this caught my interest and I went to check it out. I noticed the dislikes were in the millions, where the likes were a few 100,000, and that's quite a margin. I looked at the comments and saw people trying to boycott Gillette and their parent company that owns the conglomerate, and then when I actually watched the ad, and as you can tell, there's a lot of build-up here, which is probably leading to an odd twist with my opinions, well, I didn't quite get the sheer weight of the hatred being levelled at this advert, or how defensive some of the more bull-headed comments were, but before you rip me apart in the comments section, that doesn't mean I thought it was a good advert. The whole intention of the advert is to sort of unite the best in men to be the absolute best they can be. Okay, sounds pretty good, I guess. Now, here's the thing. I do believe there is such a thing as kind of toxic masculinity, or toxic behaviour, I guess, because living in Essex, near Colchester town, you see a lot of it. Guys that are just needlessly bull-headed and confrontational because, I don't know, they're hiding an acorn in their pants is my first guess. In my social circle at my old job at BP, I was often made fun of for committing to my first girlfriend, and for just having the one, as opposed to quote-unquote playing the field. And, you know, just go for a night out and keep an eye on the cocktail waitress and the female staff. Just people watch for a bit, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, I don't think toxic masculinity is necessarily the right phrase, though, because I wouldn't deem this the problem to be exclusive to just males. However, I can understand why maybe a razor ad would want to unite more than just the one demographic. However, it does come across as a bit biased. Frankly, I think there are major social defects bred into different generations that do need action taken to solve, which starts off with more effective ethics education in schools. Because looking around, you'd think this makes up a bit of a majority, and going by the fact that these types generally are not intelligent enough to connect what's on the TV to the real world, I'd really question who the heck this Gillette advert is actually aimed at, among a few other questions. There's an instance where two little boys are wrestling on the ground, and meanwhile dozens of adult males stand with a barbecue grill each saying, "Boys will be boys." I do wonder what the relevance of the barbecue has in this message, and not to mention, if the boys are just tussling a bit, there's not really anything wrong with a bit of physical play. Now, if one of them were visibly in a lot of pain and the other just wouldn't quit, we'd have a different circumstance there. This is the problem with the ad. It tries to throw a nice big blanket over every societal, patriarchal issue, and just ends up belittling these real-world problems in a bid to, I don't know, sell razors. With all this said, all I see on this topic is bile about snowflake this and soy boy that, which kind of proves exactly that men do need to be a little better. To be a man is not about being an impenetrable fortress of intractability that looks out only for themselves. It's to be the best you can be, and I think perhaps that the point, this being the point at least, of the advert, should have been expressed a lot better. Here's an angle with how an advert like this could be presented a lot better. The world can be a tough place for all of us, and that includes us men, but perhaps we can be better. See, that's immediately, this quote doesn't try to pinpoint all of the world's problems to one place. I believe that the notion of toxic behaviour absolutely exists, and I think it's high time we acknowledge that it does work both ways, but we don't see feminine hygiene products saying, "Hey, stop making false rape accusations, women need to do better," because it casts too much of a blanket over an issue, you know, and generally, toxic behaviour does come from some form of personality defect, so I highly doubt that they'd watch the TV and say, "Oh wow, the razor ad told me to stop beating my son, I didn't realise that was wrong, thanks ad." So yeah, total social political misfire. However, I do think the comment section has exposed some guilty consciences looking at how defensive some people are getting. "Hey, I should be allowed to grope women in public." What's quite funny is how Piers Morgan has responded to the ad with absolute rage and fury. Well, if this ad should trigger anybody, it's probably him.
Everyone Everything we told you to be, men, for the last 30-odd years was evil. Oh, shut up.
Because that's quite a sentiment.
Oh, please. It's utter guff. Women aren't perfect. I think it's repulsive, this ad. The virtue signalling nonsense contained in it. The implication that somehow we all have something to apologise for. Shut up, Gillette.
Don't you just love how he's trying to be all sensational now? Pretends to vomit over a vegan sausage roll, storms off of the set of his talk show at the mention of paedophilia. Yeah, paedophilia's bad, you go, Piers. You're all about that social justice for your own, even though you were disgraced from the tabloids for libel upon libel. He's a seedy little waste of space, isn't he? Well, moving on to a completely unrelated topic, winky face. The social misfire that I don't really see anybody talking about, though, is on Amnesty's charity's Snowflake campaign that's been doing the rounds on Facebook lately. So Amnesty is a charity dedicated to assisting with global human rights issues and raising awareness. That's a pretty noble cause, so I don't want to state that this video is there to say, hey, let's boycott Amnesty, far from it, but their Snowflake campaign is clearly trying to reach out to the youth of today, which are often allegedly preoccupied with social media trends and their own issues, such as identity politics. So to those hoping that I'll make a comment on identity politics, I'm not going to make a comment on identity politics. I have worked far too hard to get the subscribers that I have, and I'll be damned if I lose any of them over a subject that I'm not at proper grips with, and I am far too insecure for a controversy. So, how do you reach the youth of today? Good question. I guess perhaps a celebrity endorsement is a start.
We are in such a snowflake generation now. Everybody has to whine and wail. Just get on with it.
But not if it's Piers goddamn Morgan. Immediately failed on a fundamental level. Bin it. Well, we have Piers Morgan ranting, "We are living in such a snowflake generation now. Everybody has to whine and wail. Just get on with it." Piers, are you gatekeeping problems? Yes, I whine that the rental property market has scammed me out of over £1,000 completely legally. Yes, I wail that I can't sue anybody for the property damage done after a maggot infestation I warned my landlords about many a times. Yes, I whinge about the fact that poverty is the default lifestyle for under 25s currently. Just get on with it? Fine, I'll get on with my debt in peace like I usually do. Only reason I brought it up is because you're piping up again. Easy for you to say with your £13 million net worth. Stick a vegan sausage roll in it, you rectal prolapse.
God, just get on with it. Just get on with it. Just get on with it. Everybody has to whine and wail. Just get on with it.
So it continues on with the message, "Hey Snowflake, are you mad that your Instagram only got 5 likes? Okay, to be honest, I feel that's a bit of a generalization, but moving on to the next one. Are you upset that nobody takes your gluten intolerance seriously? Well, to be honest, that is a real problem for a lot of people. I make jokes about the whole, oh, but is it gluten-free crowd as much as the next guy, but I understand that things like intolerances aren't fair. Do you have a gluten intolerance, Piers? Right. Once again, you don't know what you're talking about, little girl, so just shut your face. Okay, so it just kind of goes on then talking about why we should be more mad about the global issues such as political regimes in the Middle East, etc. And fair enough, those are real problems. But this doesn't really change the fact that crisis is relative. People have a right to complain. Oh, but the refugees! Nobody said that that's not even an issue. Come on. Now, I know that a bunch of youths today that go around preaching social justice and yet they only give a hoot about the things that mean something to themselves in specific. And yes, those people are idiots. You can't be a social justice warrior if the only social justice you are warring for is your very own. But like the Gillette ad, this really does cast a weird blanket over the issue. So then by the end it says, so what are you gonna do, Snowflake? Gonna cry? Okay, right, so who is actually referring to themselves as a snowflake? I'm pretty sure snowflake is a derogatory term that the right came up with to point out how absurd some of the left's priorities can be. You are aware they don't call themselves snowflakes, right? How could you get this much wrong on such a fundamental level? Oh, and then they have these shrugging, smiling emojis and stuff. Okay, let me just remake this ad for a second. So you have Donald Trump come on and just going, "Hello, fellow youths. It is I, President Donald J. Trump. Put down your Tamagotchis for a second and listen up.
I know how hard it is to not be able to afford to move out of my dad's. It's a joke. Terrible. But it's actually not hard at all, because other countries have it worse. So what are you gonna do about it, libtard? Stop being a pussy and send your money over.
And then the troll face just comes up and goes, "You mad, bro?" It's the exact same advert. It is exactly how it comes across. Jesus, wow. So what do you think of these ads? Have you seen them? Comment below, and if there's other ads that you want me to talk about in future videos, whatever you suggest, I'll consider it. And as always, if you enjoyed this video and you're new here, don't forget to click subscribe for all things. I don't even know anymore. Just subscribe or don't. It's your life. Alright, have fun. Thank you, and have a great day.